Ladies and gentlemen, if I can have your attention, I would ask you to take your seat. We're just about to start the program.
دوستان عزیز اگر لطف کنین و بنشینید برنامه در عرض 2-3 دقیقه آغاز خواهد شد. ممنون میشیم.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the home of Highlands United Church. My name is the Reverend Will Sparks, and I serve the community on behalf of Highlands United Church. And I want to begin by offering as a community our condolences in the loss that you are experiencing. And our hearts go out to you, and we open our doors to you. As followers in the way of Jesus, we believe in unconditional love and in the sacredness of all life and every life. This is something I think we share with our Baha'i sisters and brothers. So it is an honor to open our doors and our home to the Baha'i community as you hold this sacred ceremony and this prayer. I want to begin by lighting a candle that we light at every ceremony that we hold here. It has deep meaning for us, and in its universal sense, it symbolizes the love of God that has no end. Just a couple of details about this space. There are washrooms at either ends of the halls. I'd ask you to, this is a service of prayer, so I'd ask you to silence your phones, please. That will allow this to be a deeper and uninterrupted time of prayer. As well, if you're speaking, be careful as you make your way up. The flowers have water in them, and they're sharing that water with the floors, and so just be careful where you walk. And know that as we gather here today, there is a wider community that is holding you all in prayer, in the sacred spirit. Here is one of the readings, one of the prayers that we offer in times of grief and loss. It's a vision that they shall hunger no more. Neither shall they thirst any more. The sun shall not strike them, nor any scorching heat, for the Lamb in the midst of the throne will be their shepherd and guide them to springs of living water, and God will wipe every tear from their eyes. God be with you.
دوستان عزیز خیلی خوش آمدید. لطفاً سلف ارگانتون رو خاموش کنید که برنامه رو با مناجات شروع خواهیم کرد. دوستان عزیزی که مناجات شروع قرار تلاوت کنن لطفاً بفرمایید بالا.
والله ای خداوند بیمانند، این یار عزیز را بپرور و تارکش را به افسر عطا زینت و زیور بخش. دهیم جهانبانی جهان جاودانی ده و اکلیل موهبت آسمانی بر سر گذار. مشتاق دیدار بود در محفل تجلی را ده و آرزوی مشاهده می نمود. پرتو لقا مبذول فرما. پروانه مشتاق بود به شمع جمال نزدیک فرما. بلبل پر احتراق بود به وصل گل فائز کن. یارانش را یاوری فرما و صبر و قرار بخش و تحمل و استبار عنایت کن تا در فرقتش از حرقت نجات یابند و از حرمان و هجرانش تسلی قلب حاصل کنند. تویی مقتدر، تویی عزیز، تویی معین، تویی توانا و انک انت علی کل شیء قدیر.
All praise, O my God, be to thee, who art the source of all glory and majesty, of greatness and honor, of sovereignty and dominion, of loftiness and grace, of awe and power. Whomsoever thou willest, thou causest to draw nigh unto thy most great ocean, and on whomsoever thou desirest, thou conferest the honor of recognizing thy most ancient name. Of all who are in heaven and on earth, none can withstand the operation of thy will. From all eternity, thou didst rule over the whole creation. Thou wilt evermore to exercise the dominion of all. I apologize. From all eternity, thou didst rule the entire creation, and thou wilt continue forevermore to exercise thy dominion on all created things. There is none other God but thee, the Almighty, the most exalted, the all-powerful, the all-wise. Illumine, O God, the faces of thy servants, that they may behold thee, and cleanse their hearts, that they may turn unto the court of thy heavenly favors, and recognize him who is the manifestation of thyself, and the dayspring of thine essence. Verily, thou art the Lord of all the worlds. There is no God but thee, the unconstrained, the all-subduing. Baha'u'llah.
Dear friends, good morning. On behalf of the Missaghi and Ferdowsi families, I extend a warm welcome to all of you as we come together to celebrate the life of Amineh Ferdowsi Missaghi. We not only celebrate her life in this mortal world, but also the dawn of her new life in the world of spirit. As we have been assured by Baha'i holy writings, when death occurs, the body returns to the world of dust, while the soul continues to progress in the spiritual worlds of God. Abdul Baha, the son of Prophet, founder of the Baha'i faith, states, to consider that after the death of the body, the spirit perishes, is like imagining that a bird in a cage will be destroyed if the cage is broken, though the bird has nothing to fear from the destruction of the cage. Our body is like the cage and the spirit is like the bird. If the cage becomes broken, the bird will continue and exist. Its feelings will be even more powerful, its perceptions greater, and its happiness increased. Seen in this light, death is not to be feared. Baha'u'llah refers to it as a messenger of joy. He states, "Thou art my dominion, and my dominion perisheth not. Wherefore fearest thou thy perishing? Thou art my light, and my light shall never be extinguished. Why dost thou dread extinction? Thou art my glory, and my glory fadeth not. Thou art my robe, and my robe shall never be outworn." I am here today to convey the deep respect and heartfelt love of the Ferdowsi family members in Nashville, who for various reasons could not be here in person. I am joined by Lili, Azar, and Bijan Ferdowsi, who along with myself represent the contingent of Ferdowsi family members living in Tennessee. They are with us in the spirit. For those of you who may not have had the privilege of knowing Amineh Khanum personally or hearing her story, I'm sure today you will learn much about her remarkable life. However, I'd like to take a moment to share my personal impression that go beyond the simple narrative of dates and events. I became part of the Ferdowsi family in 1979. It was then that I began to learn about the family's history and became acquainted with its foundational pillars, Hashem, Fatullah, Nurullah, and Amineh, 3 brothers and 1 sister. What struck me most about them was first and foremost their unwavering commitment to the Baha'i faith. whether as pioneers, members of Baha'i administrative institutions, or simply as teachers and promoters of the faith, their lives were dedicated to its principles. Secondly, their unbreakable bond of unity. Never did I hear any of them speak a harsh word about one another. They addressed each other with honor, always using the respectful title of Agha, meaning Mr. or Mrs. There were never arguments over material matters, only love and mutual respect. Secondly, these qualities were instilled in them by their parents, Abul Qasim and Talat Ferdowsi, who were lifelong teachers, educating both Baha'i and non-Baha'i children and adults alike. It was their nurturing that shaped the character of their children. Among the four, I was particularly moved by Amineh Khanum. Her dignity, honor, and respect were evident in everything she did, and she passed these values on to her children, Shahram, Shahla, and Shiva, who continue to embody her principles in their lives. I am proud of them and their families, who serve their communities with great professionalism and dedication. With your permission, I will say some words in Persian. دوستان گرامی، با عرض تشکر و قدردانی از حضور تک تک شما عزیزان در جلسه وداع با پیکر عنصری بانو امینه خانم فردوسی میثاقی مفتخرم که دقایقی چند به نیابت از خانواده‌های فردوسی، خاندان پدری امینه خانم یا آنسان که برادرزاده‌هایشان را می‌نامیدند عمه جون در خدمت شما باشم. پیشاپیش از هر گونه قصور در انجام این وظیفه عذر تقصیر می‌طلبم و قدردان صبر و شکیبایی شما عزیزان هستم. روایت حیاتی پربار افزون بر 9 دهه و تلخیص آن در چند صفحه کاری است ناممکن. از جهتی طغیان عواطف و احساسات و از سوی کوشش در پرهیز از گزافه‌گویی و مبالغه این مهم را به چالشی دشوار بدل می‌سازد. اطمینان دارم که فرزندان ایشان در خلال برنامه معرفی شایسته‌ای از مادر به عمل خواهند آورد. نوزاد سپید روی و ظریف پیکر را امینه نامیدند. امین در لغت به معنای استوار، امانتدار، درست کردار، صالح و معتمد است. نامی بس برازنده برای بانویی که تا آخرین نفس گوهر عشق و وفا به دیانت محبوبش را در قلب پاک و عاری از کدورت خود به امانت حفظ نمود و با رخی روشن و وجدانی چون گلزار و چمن به جهان باقی شتافت. عزیزانی که با دیانت بهایی آشنایی دارند به خوبی واقفند که بهاییان مرگ را نه خاتمه بلکه آغاز زندگی حقیقی روح می‌دانند و این مراسم را نه ختم بلکه تذکر می‌نامند. تذکر این حقیقت که انسان به جسم انسان نیست، انسان به روح انسان است و از برای روح فنایی متصور نه، چه که فنا از آن ماده است و روح ورای تجزیه و ترکیب. از این روی هنگام درگذشت عزیزان از جزع و فزع می پرهیزند و به حبل دعا و مناجات می آویزند و غم فراق و دوری موقت جسمانی را با توجه به آموزه‌های بهایی بر خود هموار می سازند. چنان که حضرت عبدالبها فرزند ارشد پیامبر دیانت مقدس بهایی می‌فرمایند: مادر مهربان مانند مرغ بلند آشیان آهنگ لانه خویش در ملکوت ابها نمود. پس دلتنگ مشو، اشک مریز، محزون مگرد، ناله و فغان مکن، زیرا از جهان تاریک و تنگ به جهانی روشن و بیرنگ شتافت و از عالم قیود به فضای غیر محدود صعود نمود. زنهار زنهار از دیده اشک مبار، زیرا آن کامکار محزون و بیقرار گردد. چه موهبتی است اعظم از این که به عالمی خارج از عقول بشر شتافت، اسیر زنجیر علایق بود، بر سریر شادمانی مستقر شد، بسته به قید این جهان فانی بود و مانند طیور قدسی به عالم آزادی پرواز نمود. امینه چون دیگر بهاییان مظلوم ایران از دوران کودکی حیاتی سراسر شدائد و مشکلات را تجربه نمود. افزون بر فراق عزیزانی چون والدین مهربان، همسر فداکار و برادران عزیزتر از جان، داغ شهادت برادر نازنین به دست ظالمان و آوارگی و دربدری از خانه و خانمان، زخمهای عمیقی بر روح حساس آن بانوی مهربان بر جای نهاد. ولی به یمن ایمان و اطمینان به فرمایشات مولای منان، آن همه را چون کوهی تاب آورد. حضرت عبدالبها می‌فرمایند: آسیاب جهان در گردش است و جمیع خلق مانند دانه نرم و محو از این جنبش. این آسیاب در گردش کرورها دانه متلاشی نماید. با وجود این چقدر خلق غافلند که این گردش را مشاهده می نمایند و به این جهان دلبستگی دارند. در این عرصه تنگ و جهان پر آب و رنگ، اگر 100,000 درنگ نمایی، جز زخم و زهر و سقم و درد و غم و زجر نیابی. انسان دمی نیاساید، همدمی نیابد، نفسی نیارامد و محفل راحتی نیاراید. جنگ است و جدال، ننگ است و وبال، فقدان است و زوال. در این صورت از رحلت چه حسرتی و در وفات چه آفتی. منتها این است که از جهان ظلمانی به عالم نورانی شتابد و از تنگنای جسمانی به جهان دلگشای روحانی هجرت نماید. قسم به جمال دوست یکتا که این خاکدان فانی بسیار تنگ و تاریک است. حوصله انسان تحمل مشقات این جهان ننماید. این است که به جهان دیگر شتابد تا وسعت و فسحت یابد. یاران نازنین، زهی سعادت برای آنان که چون امینه خانم عزیز فرصت کوتاه حیات جسمانی را مغتنم شمردند و به آنچه مأمور بودند عامل گشتند. دلی نیازردند و حزن احدی نپسندیدند. تا حد توان به خرد و کلان و پیر و جوان و توانا و ناتوان خدمت نمودند و هرگز لب به غیبت و بدگویی نیالودند. حکم قضا را گردن نهادند و لب به شکایت نگشودند و همواره با لبخندی بر لب زنگ غم از دلها زدودند. مهمان نواز بودند و همگان، حتی برادرزاده های بس شیطان، در منزل ایشان اوقات به خوشی گذراندند و خاطرات سراسر مهر عمه مهربان را در دل و جان انبان نمودند. زنده یاد امینه خانم فردوسی میثاقی، مادری مهربان، همسری فداکار، دوستی دلسوز و یک بهایی صادق بودند. نصائح حضرت عبدالبها را به گوش جان شنیدند و تا آخرین نفس در عمل به آن کوشیدند، چنان که می‌فرمایند: وقت را غنیمت شمرید، به جان بکوشید و بخروشید تا این جهان ظلمانی نورانی گردد و این عالم تنگ و تاریک گشایش یابد. بنیاد عناد برافتد و اساس بیگانگی ویران گردد و بنیان یگانگی مرتفع شود. آتش جنگ بنشانید و علم صلح بلند نمایید. وحدت عالم انسانی را ترویج دهید و دین را وسیله محبت و مودت به جمیع بشر شمرید. عالم انسانی را خدمت نمایید، دشمنان را محترم دارید و مبغضان را دوستان شمرید. به اعدا خدمت کنید و به بدخواه خونخوار مهربانی نمایید. از نفسی مرنجید و از کسی دلتنگ مشوید، ولو هر جفا روا دارد و هر جور و ستم مجرا نماید. این است نصیحت عبدالبها. ممنونم. دوستانی که خوانند تلاوت آیات میکنن بفرمایید.
میبخشید این مناجاتی که من تهیه کردم همه این بیانات حضرت عبدالبها همه که شما فرمودید قبلا. خب الله. ای پروردگار، ای آمرزگار، این بنده بزرگوار از جام محبتت سرمست بود و از یوم الست می پرست. به خدمت احبایت مشغول و به عبودیت آستانت معلوم. ذکرش، تسبیح و تهلیل به جان فشانی نمود شب و روز دمی نیاسود و راحتی ننمود، بلکه هر دم همدم خدمات بود و هر نفس هم نفس دوستانت. بسا شبها که با چشم گریان و قلبی بریان ناله فغان نمود و از فرقت حضرت احدیتت سوزان و گریان بود، تا آنکه از این عالم فانی به آن جهان جاودانی شتافت و در جوار رحمت کبری منزل و مأوا جست. پروردگارا تو مهربانی و تو ملجأ هر بی سر و سامان. این بنده دیرین را قرین حضور فرما و از شهد و شکر لقا کامش شیرین فرما. در ظل شجره وحدانیتت مواده و از کوثر بقا در محفل لقا سیراب کن. توی مهربان و توی غافر از ذنوب هر ناتوان و توی آمرزنده گناهان. ای متعلقین آن بنده الهی، آن مرغ چمنستان عرفان، هرچند از این جهان پرواز به آن جهان کرد، ولی الحمدلله ثابت بر عهد و پیمان بود و خادم بندگان رحمان. در مدت حیات قصدش عبودیت یاران بود و منتها آرزویش بندگی آستان. از فضل و موهبت الهی موفق به آن شد و در ملأ اعلی مقبول و ممدوح و مقرب درگاه کبریا گشت. این است موهبت عظمی، این است عنایت کبری. با وجود این فوز و فلاح نباید محزون و دلخون باشید، بلکه باید در نهایت سرور و حبور به شکرانه عزیز غفور مشغول گردید که او را مؤید و موفق فرمود و انشاءالله شما را نیز از آن بحر نصیبی است و از آن نهر بحری و البهاب علیکم.
هوالله، ای یزدان مهربان، جمیع بشر را از یک سلاله خلق فرمودی تا اعضای یک خاندان گردند و بندگان حضرت تو شوند. در ظل سرادق فضلت مأوای بخشیدی و بر خوان نعمتت مجتمع کردی و از اشراقات انوار عنایتت منور ساختی. ای خدای مهربان، تویی ملجأ و پناه و بخشنده فیض حیات. تاج انسانی را زینت هر سری فرمودی و خلعت موهبت را زیور کل بشر تا غریق دریای رحمت تو شوند. ای مولای مهربان، کل را متحد فرما و مظاهر مختلفه را به یکدیگر الفت بخش. جمیع ملل را ملت واحده کن تا اجزای یک خانمان گردند و روی زمین را یک وطن دانند و به نهایت اتحاد الفت جویند. ای خدا، رایت وحدت عالم انسانی را بلند فرما و صلح اعظم را مستقر کن. قلوب را به یکدیگر التیام ده. ای خدا، ای پدر مهربان، قلوبمان را از نفحات محبتت شادمان کن و دیده ها را به نور هدایتت روشن نما و گوش ها را از نفحات جانپرور ملتز فرما و در صون عنایتت ملجأ و پناه بخش. انک انت القوی القدیر یا ستار الغیوب و یا غفار الذنوب. عبدالبها عباس.
O my God, thou forgiver of sins, bestower of gifts, dispeller of afflictions, verily I beseech thee to forgive the sins of such as have abandoned the physical garment and have ascended to the spiritual world. O my Lord, purify them from trespasses, dispel their sorrows, and change their darkness into light. Cause them to enter the garden of happiness. Cleanse them with the most pure water, and grant them to behold thy splendors on the loftiest mount. Abdul-Baha.
Blessed is the soul which, at the hour of its separation from the body, is sanctified from the vain imaginings of the peoples of the world. Such a soul liveth and moveth in accordance with the will of its Creator, and entereth the all-highest paradise. The maids of heaven, inmates of the loftiest mansions, will circle around it, and the prophets of God and his chosen ones will seek its companionship. With them that soul will freely converse and will recount unto them that which it hath been made to endure in the path of God, the Lord of all the worlds.
If any man be told that which hath been ordained for such a soul in the worlds of God, the Lord of the throne on high, and of the earth below, his whole being will instantly blaze out in the great longing to attain that most exalted, that sanctified and resplendent station. The nature of the soul after death can never be described, nor it is meet and permissible to reveal its whole character to the eyes of men. The prophets and messengers of God hath been sent down for the sole purpose of guiding mankind to the straight path of truth. The purpose underlying the revelation hath been to educate all men, that they may, at the hour of death, ascend in the utmost purity and sanctity, and with absolute detachment to the throne of the Most High.
The light which these souls radiate is responsible for the progress of the world and the advancement of its peoples. They are like unto leaven which leaveneth the world of being, and constitute the animating force through which the arts and wonder of the world are made manifest. Through them the clouds rain their bounty upon men, and the earth bringeth forth its fruits. Baha'u'llah.
O thou forgiving God, forgive the sins of my loving mother, pardon her shortcomings, cast upon her the glance of thy gracious providence, and enable her to gain admittance into thy kingdom. O God, from the earliest days of my life, she educated and nurtured me, yet I did not recompense her for her toil and labors. Do thou reward her by granting her eternal life and making her exalted in thy kingdom. Verily thou art the forgiver, the bestower, and the kind. Abdul-Baha.
Rely upon God, trust in Him, raise Him, and call Him continually to mind. He verily turneth trouble into ease, and sorrow into solace, and toil into utter peace. He verily hath dominion over all things. He verily hath dominion over all things.
My dearly loved mother, Amineh Ferdowsi Missaghi, was born on March 22, 1932, in Krogan, one of the 7 villages that make up Jasp, near the city of Qom. Her parents, Abul Qasim and Talat Ferdowsi, were among the early Baha'i scholars and educators. When she was an infant, the family moved to Iran, where her father was appointed as the head of the Baha'i Marifat school. Many Baha'i children received their education under her parents' guidance. It was at this very school that Amineh completed her early education. She had 3 older brothers and 3 sisters. Tragically, her 3 sisters passed away in childhood due to illness. As the only surviving daughter and youngest child, Amineh was deeply cherished. Her parents, firm in their belief in the equality of man and woman, were determined that she receive a full education. She proved to be a bright and gifted student. When the Marifat school was shut down by the authorities because of Baha'i affiliation, 13-year-old Amineh remained steadfast. Undeterred, she traveled to Tehran to take a government-administered proficiency test to earn her diploma. She stayed in Tehran with her brother, the beloved martyr Fatullah Ferdowsi, to continue her education. At 17, she married Hossein Missaghi. Early in their marriage, during the 10-year crusade and in obedience to the instructions of the beloved guardian of the faith, Amineh and Hossein, along with their 2 eldest children, Shahla and Shahram, pioneered to Lahijan in Gilan. There, she served as a member of several institutions, dedicating herself to the service of the faith. After 7 years in Lahijan, they were blessed with another daughter, Shiva. Shortly thereafter, they returned to Tehran. However, remaining in Tehran was contrary to the wishes of the guardian. After consultation with the pioneering committee, Amina and Hussein relocated once again, this time to Kalak, a suburb of Karaj, to establish the local spiritual assembly of that city. 6 years later, they moved to Jahanshah, where they lived for 20 years. During this time, both of my parents served on the local spiritual assembly, continuing their tireless devotion to the Baha'i faith. Amineh, a gifted writer, was frequently elected as the secretary of the institutions which she served. With the Iranian Revolution of 1979, the persecution of the Baha'is intensified. At the time, Amineh served as assistant to Mrs. Yunus Mahmoudi, who was later martyred for her faith. My father, always by her side, acted as a liaison between a member of the National Spiritual Assembly of Iran and the Baha'i community of Karaj and its surrounding areas. In later years, their grandchildren would listen in awe to the beautiful, harrowing, and deeply moving stories of their courage and faith during these perilous times. In 1981, 2 members of the local spiritual assembly of Karaj, Mr. Hashem Farnoosh and Mr. Farhang Maveddat, were arrested and later martyred for their beliefs. Our parents narrowly escaped a similar fate when a phone call from Mr. Farnoosh warned them to leave their home. For the next 2 years, they lived as fugitive in Iran. Recognizing that their continued presence in Iran endangered both their own lives and the safety of others, they made the painful decision to flee. With guidance from the member of the National Spiritual Assembly, they sought refuge in the Netherlands by way of Pakistan in 1982. They lived in The Hague for 5 years with their daughter Shahla and her family, continuing their service to their faith and community. In 1987, they immigrated to Regina, Canada, where they lived for 14 years alongside their children, Shahram and Shiva, and their families. They remain deeply involved in the Baha'i community, facilitating Ruhi and deepening classes in Farsi for Iranian believers and others. In 2003, my parents made their final move to North Vancouver, where they lived for over 20 years. Their commitment to service never wavered, and they continued to uplift and support those around them. In 2023, my dear father, Hussein Missaghi, departed this mortal world, ascending to the Abha kingdom. He and my mother had shared 75 years of marriage. Though his passing was an immense loss, she remained our guiding light and matriarch, steadfast and strong until her final breath. Amineh Missaghi was a true Baha'i, a lamp lighted by the fire of God's love, nurtured by enlightened parents who instilled in her a deep devotion to God and all humanity. She grew up with the example of 3 steadfast, united, and faithful brothers. Her exceptional knowledge and understanding of the Baha'i writings made her a scholar in her own right. She served the faith unwaveringly, hand in hand with her beloved husband throughout her life. She was infinitely loving, patient, and kind to all who crossed her path. She emanated serenity and calmness, born from absolute resignation to the will of God. She and my father created a home that was more than just a refuge for their own family. It was a haven of warmth and love for countless others who saw them as their own parents. Her legacy lives on through her 3 children, 8 grandchildren, and 12 great-grandchildren. It is no exaggeration to say that our own steadfastness is a testament to the unwavering faith and love of this remarkable handmaiden of Baha'u'llah and her dear husband. Through them, we learned the true meaning of love for God, love for Baha'u'llah, love for one another, and love for all mankind. Though she was no stranger to pain and suffering, she departed this world swiftly on the morning of January 28th, surrounded by loved ones. While her absence is deeply felt, we take comfort in knowing she is soaring in the spiritual realms, free from earthly limitations, reunited with her beloved husband, dear parents and siblings, and embraced by the concourse on high. May her soul be blessed on its journey back to its Creator.
So I tried to translate similar to Sharam's. Maybe just few words, maybe shorter, or a few sentences. مادر عزیز و گرامی من، امینه فردوسی میثاقی، در تاریخ 22 مارس 1932 در کروگان جاسپ نزدیک شهر قم چشم به جهان گشود. والدین او ابوالقاسم فردوسی و طلعت عبودیت فردوسی از دانشمندان و مربیان پیشگام آیین بهایی بودند. در دوران نوزادی او خانواده‌اش به آران نقل مکان کردند، جایی که پدرش به عنوان مدیر مدرسه معرفت بهایی منصوب شد. بسیاری از کودکان بهایی تحت تعلیم و تربیت والدین او قرار گرفتند و امینه مادر مهربانمان نیز در همین مدرسه تحصیلات ابتدایی خود را به پایان رساند. ایشان 3 برادر بزرگتر داشتند و 3 خواهر. متاسفانه هر 3 خواهرش را در دوران کودکی بر اثر بیماری از دست درگذشتند. به عنوان تنها دختر بازمانده و کوچکترین فرزند خانواده، امینه مورد محبت فراوان قرار گرفت و والدینش که عمیقاً به برابری زن و مرد و اهمیت آموزش دختران باور داشتند، بر آن بودند که او تحصیلات کاملی دریافت کند. امینه مادر گرامیمان دانش آموزی درخشان و با استعداد بود. با بسته شدن مدرسه معرفت توسط مقامات به دلیل ماهیت بهایی آن، امینه 13 ساله بود و با استقامت و عزم راسخ برای شرکت در آزمون دولتی و اخذ دیپلم خود به تهران سفر کرد. او برای ادامه تحصیل نزد برادرش آقا فتح‌الله فردوسی در تهران ماند. در 17 سالگی با پدرم حسین میثاقی ازدواج کرد. به اطاعت از راهنمایی‌های ولی امرالله، امینه و حسین همراه با 2 فرزند بزرگترشان شهلا و شهرام به لاهیجان در گیلان مهاجرت کردند و هر دو به خدمت در نهادهای بهایی پرداختند. پس از 7 سال فرزند سومشان شیوا به دنیا آمد که بنده هستم با اجازه و آنها به تهران بازگشتند و در کلاک کرج ساکن شدند و محفل روحانی محلی آن شهر را تأسیس کردند. 6 سال بعد به جهان شهر کرج نقل مکان کرده و 20 سال در آنجا زندگی کردند. در این مدت هر 2 والدین عضو محفل روحانی محلی بودند و با اخلاص به آیین بهایی خدمت می‌کردند. مادرمان که نویسنده‌ای توانا بود، اغلب به عنوان منشی این مؤسسه که در آنها خدمت می‌کرد انجام می‌شد. با وقوع انقلاب ایران در سال 1979 فشارها بر بهائیان شدت گرفت. در این زمان مادر به عنوان معاون خانم ژینوس محمودی که بعداً در راه ایمانش به شهادت رسید خدمت کرد. پدرم نیز همواره در کنار او با عنوان رابط بین یکی از اعضای محفل ملی ایران و جامعه بهایی کرج و مناطق اطراف فعالیت داشتند، تا آنکه موقعیت برای بهائیان بسیار دشوار به حدی که ایشان برای 2 سال منزل خود را ترک کرده و مخفیانه زندگی می کردند که برای احبای دیگر مشکلی ایجاد نشود. در دورانی که 2 سال در جاهای مخفی زندگی کردند، در یک جا با پسردایی عزیزم که اینجا هستن، بیژن فردوسی و همسر عزیزشون برای 1 ماه با هم بودن که خاطرات بسیار قشنگی با هم دارن و شنیدنی. در سال 1982 با راهنمایی یکی از اعضای محفل ملی ایران از طریق پاکستان به هلند پناه بردند و 5 سال در لاهه در کشور هلند در کنار دخترشان شهلا و خانواده‌اش ماندند و همچنان به خدمت در جامعه بهایی ادامه دادند. در سال 1987 به شهر ریجاینا در کشور کانادا مهاجرت کردند و 14 سال در کنار فرزندانشان شهرام و شیوا و خانواده‌هایشان زندگی کردند. آنها همچنان به تعلیم و اجرای دوره‌های روحی و جلسات تزیید معلومات برای فارسی زبانان ادامه دادند. در سال 2003 والدین گرامی به شهر نورت ونکوور نقل مکان کرده و بیش از 20 سال در این شهر زیبا در کنار فرزندانشان اسکان یافتند و همواره در خدمت جامعه و اطرافیانشان کوشا بودند، با اینکه در سنین کهولت دیگر قادر به فعالیت‌های خدماتی نبودند، ولکن یک لحظه از نشر این هدیه الهی با دیگران دریغ نکردند. در سال 2023 پدر عزیزمان حسین میثاقی این جهان فانی را ترک کرد و به ملکوت ابها عروج نمود. 75 سال زندگی مشترک پیوندی عمیق و استوار بین او و مادرم ایجاد کرده بود. با وجود اندوه فراوان، مادرم تا آخرین لحظه عمر همچنان چراغ هدایت و ستون استواری خانواده ما باقی ماند. امینه میثاقی شمعی فروزان از عشق الهی، پرورش یافته در دامان پدر و مادری فرهیخته که ایمان، استقامت و عشق به نوع بشر را در قلب او نهادند. او در کنار 3 برادر با وفا، متحد و استوار رشد کرد. دانش وسیع و درک عمیق او از آثار بهایی وی را به دانشمندی برجسته مبدل ساخته بود. در کنار همسر محبوبش بیوقفه به آیین بهایی خدمت کرد. او سرشار از محبت، صبر و مهربانی بود و آرامشی معنوی از تسلیم کامل در برابر اراده الهی در وجودش موج میزد. خانه‌ای که او و پدرم ساختند نه تنها پناهگاه خانوادهشان، بلکه مأمنی سرشار از عشق و گرما برای بسیاری از دوستان و عزیزان بود. میراث او در قلب 3 فرزند، 8 نوه و 12 نتیجه زنده است. ثبات تک تک نوه‌هایشان گواهی بر ایمان و عشق بی حد و حصر آن خادمین گرانقدر می باشد. ما آموختیم که عشق به خدا، عشق به حضرت بهاءالله و عشق به تمام بشریت معنای حقیقی زندگی است. مادر عزیزمان با آنکه رنج و مشقت را در این جهان تجربه کرد، در صبحگاه 28 ژانویه به آرامی و در میان عزیزانش چشم از جهان فرو بست. هرچند جای خالی او برای همیشه در قلب ما باقی خواهد ماند، اما اطمینان داریم که اکنون در عوالم روحانی فارغ از محدودیت‌های این جهان خاکی در کنار همسر محبوب، والدین گرامی و دیگر عزیزانش در ملکوت اعلی پیوسته است. مادر عزیزمان، روحت شاد و یادت همیشه در قلب ما.
He is God, O peerless Lord. Praised be thou for having kindled that light in the glass of the concourse on high, for having guided that bird of faithfulness to the nest of the Abha kingdom. Thou hast joined that precious river to the mighty sea. Thou hast returned that spreading ray of light to the Sun of Truth. Thou hast welcomed that captive of remoteness into the garden of reunion, and led him who longed to look upon thee to thy presence in thy bright place of lights. Thou art the Lord of tender love. Thou art the last goal of the yearning heart. Thou art the dearest wish of the martyr's soul. Abdul Baha.
O Lord, O thou whose mercy has encompassed all, whose forgiveness is transcendent, whose bounty is sublime, whose pardon and generosity are all-embracing, and the lights of whose forgiveness and diffused throughout the world. O Lord of glory, I entreat thee, fervently and tearfully, to cast upon thy handmaiden, who had ascended unto thee, the glances of thy eye of thy mercy. Robe her in the mantle of thy grace, bright with the ornaments of the celestial paradise, and, sheltering her beneath the tree of thy oneness, illumine her face with the lights of thy mercy and compassion. Bestow upon thy heavenly handmaiden, O God, the holy fragrances born of the spirit of thy forgiveness. Cause her to dwell in a blissful abode. Heal her griefs with the balm of thy reunion, and in accordance with thy will, grant her admission to thy holy paradise. Let the angels of thy loving kindness descend successively upon her and shelter her beneath thy blessed tree. Thou art verily the ever-forgiving, the most generous, the all-bountiful. Abdul Baha.
O friends, abandon not the everlasting beauty for a beauty that must die, and set not your affections on this mortal world of dust.
Another Supreme, I have made death a messenger of joy to thee. Wherefore dost thou grieve? I made the light to shed on thee its splendor. Why dost thou veil thyself therefrom?
O Son of Justice, whither can a lover go but to the land of his beloved? And what seeker findeth rest away from his heart's desire? To the true lover, reunion is life, and separation is death. His breast is void of patience, and his heart hath no peace. A myriad lives he would forsake to hasten to the abode of his beloved.
unto me. He is the all-sufficing God is sufficient unto me. He is the all-sufficing. In him let the trusting trust. Let the trusting trust. Let the trusting trust. Let the trusting trust.
O my God, verily thy servant, humble before the majesty of thy divine supremacy, lowly at the door of thy oneness, hath believed in thee and in thy verses, hath testified to thy word, hath been enkindled with the fire of thy love, hath been immersed in the depths of the ocean of thy knowledge, hath been attracted by thy breezes, hath relied upon thee, hath turned his face to thee, hath offered his supplications to thee, and hath been assured of thy pardon and forgiveness. He hath abandoned this mortal life, and hath flown to the kingdom of immortality, yearning for the favor of meeting thee. O Lord, glorify his station, shelter him under the pavilion of thy supreme mercy, cause him to enter thy glorious paradise, and perpetuate his existence in thine exalted rose garden, that he may plunge into the sea of light in the world of mysteries. Verily thou art the generous, the powerful, the forgiver, and the bestower.
O thou kind Lord, this dearly cherished maidservant was attracted to thee, and through reflection and discernment longed to attain thy presence and enter thy realms. With tearful eyes she fixed her gaze on the kingdom of mysteries. Many a night she spent in deep communion with thee, and many a day she lived in intimate remembrance of thee. At every morn she was mindful of thee, and at every eve she centered her thoughts upon thee. Like unto a singing nightingale, she chanted thy sacred verses, and like unto a mirror, she sought to reflect thy light. O thou forgiver of sins, open thou the way for this awakened soul to enter thy kingdom, and enable this bird, trained by thy hand, to soar in the eternal rose garden. She is afire with longing to draw nigh unto thee. Enable her to attain thy presence. She is distraught and distressed in separation from thee. Cause her to be admitted into thy heavenly mansion. O Lord, we are sinners, but thou art the forgiver. We are submerged in the ocean of shortcomings, but thou art the pardoner, the kind. Forgive our sins and bless us with thine abundant grace. Grant us the privilege of beholding thy countenance, and give us the chalice of joy and bliss. We are captives of our own transgressions, and thou art the King of bountiful favors. We are drowned in a sea of iniquities, and thou art the Lord of infinite mercy. Thou art the giver, the glorious, the eternal, the bounteous, and thou art the all-gracious, the all-merciful, the omnipotent, he who is the bestower of gifts and forgiver of sins. Verily thou art he to whom we turn for the remission of our failings, he who is the Lord of lords. Abdul Baha.
I have the pleasure of reading a beautiful tribute written by one of my grandmother's nephews, Ferdowsi. This afternoon, I received the sad news of the passing of my sweet and beloved aunt, Amineh Ferdowsi Misari. Since then, I've been reflecting on her life, her legacy, and the remarkable family she was a part of. 111 years have passed since her oldest brother, Hashem, was born, until she, the youngest of her siblings, took her flight to the Apa Kingdom. I can state without hesitation that she and her brothers, Hashem, Fatullah, and Nurullah, along with their parents, Abul Qasim and Talat Ferdowsi, were among the most extraordinary families I have ever known of. To her children, she was lovingly called Maman. Her brothers and sisters-in-law knew her as Amin Agha, while her 13 nieces and nephews fondly called her Ammejun. She was the very embodiment of kindness and radiated love, not only to her family, but to everyone she encountered. This profound love and kindness were hallmarks of her entire family, a legacy passed down through generations. I never once saw nor even heard the four siblings speak an unkind word to each other or to anyone else. Their unity was exemplary, deeply rooted in their unwavering faith in Baha'u'llah. Amineh was born in 1392 in Kerogan, one of the 7 villages that make up Jasp. Her parents later moved to Oran when she was an infant, as her father, Abul Qasim Ferdowsi, was appointed to lead the Marifat school, where she completed her early education. As a Baha'i school, Marifat had lost its accreditation, so Amineh had to travel to Tehran and pass a government-administered proficiency test to receive her diploma. She excelled in the test and stayed in Tehran, living with her brother Fatullah to continue her education. She was only 13 at the time, a testament to her courage and determination. She once shared a sweet story with me, which I included in my father's biography, Under the Staircase, A Martyr's Journey. She recounted attending the wedding of her brother Fatullah and Shamsi. She said, "I must have been 8 or 9 years old. My mother had a red velvet dress made for me for this occasion. I don't recall much of the wedding itself, only that it was grand. I loved that dress." After the wedding, when we returned to Oran, the daughter of my mother's domestic helper, who was also my classmate and playmate, admired the dress, touching it with awe. My mother saw this, took me aside, and suggested I give the dress to her. She told me that I could get another dress like it in the future, but that little girl may never have a chance to own such a thing. And so I did. It was difficult for me as a child to let go of something so precious, but my mother taught me a valuable lesson in selflessness and detachment that I have carried with me ever since. Teaching the faith and serving the cause were the central priorities of Amineh and her brothers. After her marriage to Mr. Hossein Missaghi, they pioneered to Lahijan, where her older brothers Hashem and Nurullah were also pioneers. Later, she returned to Tehran, but lived in Karaj, another pioneering post. I have fond memories of our visits to Karaj. Countless times we drove to spend the day with Ammejun and our cousins Shahram, Shahla, and Shiva. Those were idyllic years, and their memories remain etched in my heart. In September of 2018, Ammejun gave me a precious gift. Over 2 days, she shared her life story with me. I recorded our conversations for my book, and she provided a wealth of information I could not have found anywhere else. I will share these recordings with her family so they too can cherish her memories. Ammejun did not leave behind great material wealth for her children, but she gave them something far more valuable: faith. Shahram, Shahla, and Shiva are all devout Baha'is. Serving the faith in various capacities in Canada. They are her legacy, as are their children, protected under the shadow of Baha'u'llah's grace. If I were to describe Amijun in one word, it would be love. She exuded love effortlessly, like a gentle breeze. It was felt in her presence, requiring no words or grand gestures. I have never heard her utter an unkind word about anyone. This remarkable trait was shared by her brothers, making them all extraordinary in their own right. This brings to mind a profound statement by Thomas Jefferson, which reflects sentiments found in Baha'i writings and other sacred scriptures. It reminds us to cherish the good in people rather than judge them for their imperfections. Every human being must be viewed according to what it is good for not one of us, not one, is perfect. And were we to love none who had imperfection, this world would be a desert for our love. Imagine how much better the world would be if we all lived by this principle. Amineh Ferdowsi Missaghi did, and her life is a testament to it. May we follow in her footsteps. I concluded my father's biography with a quote from Shakespeare that I feel equally describes my dear aunt. He was a man. Take him for all in all. I shall not look upon his like again. Written by Farshid Ferdowsi on the date of Mrs. Ferdowsi Missaghi's passing, January 28th, 2025.
والله ای خدای پر عطای ظلمن واقف جان دل و اسرار من در سحرها مونس جانم تویی مطلع بر ظهر مانم تویی هر دلی پیوست با ذکر دمی جز غم تو می نجوید محرمی خون شود آن دل، خون شود آن دل که بریان تو نیست، تو نیست. کور به چشمی که گریان تو نیست، تو نیست. در شبان تیره و تار ای قدیر، یاد تو در دل چو مصباح منیر. از عنایاتت به دل روی بدم تا عدم گردد ز لطف تو قدم. در لیاقت منگر و در قدرها بنگرند در فضل خود ای ذوالعطا. این طیور بال و پر اشکسته رو از کرم بال و پری احسان نما، از کرم بال و پری احسان نما.
Our grandmother, Maman Missaghi. A heavenly angel left this earthly world and winged her flight to her beloved. Although she left a big void in our hearts and is deeply missed, we're comforted in the knowledge that she is finally free of this earthly cage of limitations and soaring freely in the realms above. Her life was incredibly revolved around her faith from a very young age. My grandmother was blessed with the most amazing dreams that included all the central figures of the faith. She was the best storyteller. Her memory was uncanny. When she was 12 years old, she dreamt that she entered a courtyard where all the central figures of the faith were present. Baha'u'llah the Prophet, the center of the covenant, Abdul Baha, the forerunner, the Bab, the guardian, Shoghi Effendi, and Tahere the purest. She was summoned to come and join them and sit with them and chant the poems of Tahere. She did it with an incredible voice. And once she was done, everybody there applauded her and showered her with all compliments. In the morning, she told her father, who with joy in his eyes congratulated her and said because her heart is so pure, she has these beautiful dreams, and encouraged her to memorize more of these holy words. And she did, and more than that, she breathed these words. She was deeply immersed in the ocean of his knowledge and really climbed that ladder for her ascent. She was a walking encyclopedia. She recited so many poems, verses, holy words by heart with her angelic and most beautiful voice that, like unto a singing nightingale, she chanted thy sacred verses, and like unto a mirror, she sought to reflect thy light. Her voice still sings in my heart and rings in my ears. She was an example of let deeds, not words, be your adorning. She emanated unwavering kindness to whomever crossed her path, together with compassion, generosity, and love. She was the best gardener in the spiritual meaning, because in the garden of her heart, she planted naught but the rose of love. Her wisdom was sapient, prudent, erudite, insightful, thoughtful, and enlightened. She would look for the good in everyone, focusing on understanding and compassion rather than judgment. She would seek to lift others up, regardless of the situation. She would not offer her thoughts if not asked, but those who knew her used her wisdom as a haven, a refuge, a warm embrace. She lived by these words: be fair in thy judgment and guarded in thy speech. Be unjust to no man, and show all meekness to all men. Be as a lamp unto them that walk in darkness, a joy to the sorrowful, a sea for the thirsty, a haven for the distressed, an upholder and defender of the victim of oppression. The same love and wisdom she emanated to her children, her grandchildren, and great-grandchildren. A week before her passing, my boys and I visited her, and she was lovingly conversing with each one of them, asking them about their studies, their future plans. And when my youngest, who is still in high school, told her that he would like to study business at the best university, and this is where it is, with a very kind, calm, and loving voice, she said, you know, the best university is not always the best place to go. She was sharp and wise till the end. My grandmother stayed dignified during all her challenges and hardships in life, whether it was resilience during the early days of the revolution when loved ones were imprisoned, martyred, executed, or when she had to flee her homeland and leaving loved ones behind, the challenges of language barriers, multiple health challenges, passing of friends, family, and loved ones. But she never complained, remained steadfast, and lived by these words. The sign of love is fortitude under his decree and patience under his trials. What a blessing to have had this beautiful angel in my life for over 50 years. The emptiness and void she has left in our hearts is irreplaceable and beyond imagination. But we can fill it with sweet memories and the knowledge that she is finally free of the physical limitations of this world. and soaring in the realms above. I want to end this with a few words in Persian about the fleetingness of this life. مرغ باغ ملکوتم نیم از عالم خاک 2-3 روزی قفسی ساختن در بدنم.
Our great-grandmother left this world on January the 28th, and with that, her gentle soul began its journey to the Abha kingdom. She will leave a gap that is huge in our hearts, but she also filled them with love, joy, and laughter. Maman Missaghi was as selfless as a person could be. She always asked those around her what was going on with their lives, actively giving suggestions from her years of experience, and she would remember what we said upon seeing her the next time. She was also incredibly proactive in her faith, telling us great-grandchildren various stories about central figures as well as chanting beautiful prayers. She was also incredibly compassionate, constantly offering us food and drinks whenever we visited her. Despite the hardships she suffered in her life, Maman Missaghi would always be caring of all those around her, and was the most amazing great-grandmother I could ask of. I have nothing but fantastic memories of her and can probably say the same for anyone that knew her as well. On behalf of all your great-grandchildren, thank you, Maman Missaghi, for everything. We love you so much.
There are some friends here that we would like to acknowledge them. We are sure that our mother would have been very happy that we mentioned this. During last 2 years, especially when almost 2 years, that my father passed away, the family decided that mom cannot be alone all the time. Even though as children we would go and visit her, but still she needed 24 hours care for us to make sure that she's safe at home. And there were all different ladies that they would come and help to take care of her. And we are thankful to all of them. But 4 of them, that especially 3 that they lived with her last 2 years, they went beyond their duty of being an employee of an organization and giving service. They really became family to all of us, not only mom, but all of us. And they attracted each other. And my mom loved them dearly. I could say easily that they were like a family to her, like children, like grandchildren, if, it depends to the age, but they would look like daughters. So we would like to thank on behalf of my mom, definitely, and behalf of the whole family, that these ladies did beyond their duties, because they gave her love and they attended with compassion to her. And I don't want to name them, but I feel that it's good to mention them. Mahnaz, Sohela, Sharare, Banu, there were former ones, Soheila Khanum and Parvin, but these four, they did, I could say that I was just 100% relaxed when they were with her. And my brother and sister-in-law, and Shahla Jun and the family, they were all, they were amazed with the work of these people, because sometimes work is not sometimes, all the time, work is not enough. If you don't give that connection of heart, nothing works. Even the work doesn't, go well. So these four people really, they did their best, beyond their best, and we are thankful to them. And Nazi John, you take the...
یکی از خانوما اشعاری نوشتن، خودشون اون رو دل نوشته میخونن و من با اجازهشون اینو برای شماها میخونم. این دل نوشته از سهیلا خانم هست. فرشته‌ای صعود کرد، اندوه ندیدن، اندوه نداشتن، غم دلتنگ بودن، تمام این رنجها را بارها کشیدم و چشیدم. خوب میدانم از دست دادن چیست، داغدار بودن چگونه است و دلتنگ بودن را چاره ای نیست. با هر بار رفتن عزیزی تکه‌ای از قلبم را به خاک سپردم، ولی چراغ خاطره هایش را مدام مزین می کنم. لبخندی که خاطرات شیرینشان بر لبانم می نشاند و طعم شور اشکهایم که بی اختیار بر گونه هایم روان می شود. دگر بار با عزیزی وداع کردم، عزیزی که هم نشینی های من را شیرینی و شوقی بود. خود می دانم او و خدایی که همیشه در کنار ما بود. عزیزی که لذت هم کلام بودن و همراه بودنش گرچه فرصتی کوتاه بود ولی لذتش بسیار. فرشته دیگری پر کشید و روح بلندش به سوی خدایی که محبت و ایستادگی و شعور و معرفت را به درستی به او بخشیده بود پر کشید. و از آن لحظه دلم برای دیدن لبخند مادرانش و دستان مهربانش و کلام وزینش پر می کشد. خاطراتش تا همیشه در قلب‌های ما باقی است و تا همیشه در هست زمان به نیکویی جاری است. با درود و آرامش و شادی به روح پاک و بزرگوارش.
There's the family would like to appreciate the organization that provided the service, Aryan Home Care. Thank you so much.
Like other occasional Baha'i prayers, the prayer for the departed is a special prayer, which may even be said to be extra special because it is the only Baha'i congregational prayer. It has a special repeating and rhythmic form, and it marks the end of life on this physical plane. Its basic message is a renewed recognition of our relationship with God and a recommitment to that relationship in face of personal tragedy and adversity. This relationship is characterized by 6 verses, each repeated 19 times, which is a number with symbolic significance in the Baha'i faith. In effect, this prayer connects a personal adversity with our relationship with God. One of the aspects of repeating these verses is the creation of a sort of spiritual resonance. With each repetition, intensifies our focus as we think, One of the aspects of repeating these verses is the creation of sort of a spiritual resonance as each repetition intensifies our focus and as we sink deeper in a trance-like state. With these points in mind, we now start this prayer for Mrs. Missaghi. Standing up is optional during this prayer if possible to show respect for the departed. The prayer will be chanted in Arabic. However, we have the copies of the English translation of the verses. In case anybody wants to have one, Nazi Jun has the copies. دوستان عزیز، نماز میت در دیانت مقدس بهایی تنها نماز دست جمعی است. ایستادن واجب نیست، ولی برای دوستانی که میل دارن و از نظر بدنی قادر هستند میتونن برای احترام به عزیز از دست رفته بایستن. هوشنگ خان بفرمایید.
یا الهی هذه امتك وابنة امتك التي آمنت بك وبآياتك وتوجهت إليك منقطعا ما سواك إنك أنت أرحم الراحمين. أسألك يا غفار الذنوب وستار العيوب بأن تعمل بها ما ينبغي لسماع جودك وبحر إفصالك وتدخلها في جمار رحمتك الكبرى التي سبقت أرض والسماء. لا إله إلا أنت الغفور الكريم. الله أبها إنا كل لله عابدون 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 الله أكبر إنا كل لله ساجدون 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 الله أكبر كل لله قانتون 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 الله أكبر كل لله شاكرون 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 الله كل لله صابرون 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 كل لله صابرون.
Friends, as we bring this celebration of life to a close on behalf of the Missaghi and Ferdowsi families, I would like to once again express our heartfelt gratitude for your presence here today. Your support is deeply appreciated. Amineh Khanum was truly a remarkable soul, one whose kind and beautiful spirit we may never encounter again. Her memory will forever remain in our hearts. The burial will take place at 1 sharp in Capilano View Cemetery, 3rd Street, West Vancouver, followed by lunch at 2:30 at Khaqan Restaurant. The family lovingly invite everybody, please, to join us in that restaurant for lunch. And then there is light refreshment outside for you to enjoy. دوستان عزیز، از جانب خانواده‌های فردوسی و میثاقی حقیقتاً از حضور شما تشکر می‌کنم. واقعاً با این هوای سرد که برای ما خیلی غیر عادیه، این سرما خیلی خیلی تحت تأثیر واقع شدیم همه از حضور همه شما در روز کاری و این نشون میده از عشق شما به این خانم برازنده که حقیقتاً بازتابیه حتماً از عشقی که ایشون به ما ابراز کردن. مراسم خاکسپاری در رأس ساعت 1 از ما خواستن که در کاپیلانو ویو سمتری انجام بشه. آدرسش هم من دارم اینجا اگر میخواین، 3rd Street West Vancouver. و بعد از همه شما عزیزان فامیل در کمال محبت و احترام خواهش میکنن که برای نهار تشریف بیارین ساعت 2:30 به رستوران خاقان در 935 مارین درایو Unit 66 North Vancouver. Now I ask the pallbearers to come front, please. در ضمن دوستان من یک خواهش کوچیکم دارم، چون هوا بسیار سرده در سر خاک و مراسم خاک سپاری، برای اینکه دوستان خدایی نکرده معطل نشن، سرما نخورن، 3 نفر انتخاب شدن که مناجات تلاوت خواهند کرد.